Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to elders and apostles, a great millstone, taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say Shalom to Alkiam and Aquat out there, pursuing this truth and diligently. Slakia. Coming at you with another lesson. Um, usual, I was browsing through the news, came across this, seemed pretty interesting. Figured I'd touch on it. This is dealing with a guy named Liddell Lee that was convicted of a murder back in the day. If I go here, Slovakia, here, I'll give you some more info on it. Liddell Lee, born in 1965, executed in 2017, was executed for the 1993 murder of his neighbor Deborah Reese. He was convicted in 1995, and the Arkansas Supreme Court affirmed the conviction in 1997, but numerous questions have been raised about the justice of his trial and post-conviction representation. Issues have included conflict of interest for the judge, inebriation of counsel, and ineffective defense counsel. So yeah, this is basically what went down. Deborah Reese, 1966 to 1993, was 26-year-old at the time of her death. Was found dead in 1993 in her home in Jacksonville, Arkansas. She had been strangled and beaten with a small wooden bat her husband had given to her for protection. Several of Reese's neighbors said that they saw Lee near the house and identified him to police. He was arrested less than an hour later, allegedly spending $300 stolen from Reese. Lee was charged with first-degree murder, a capital offense. He was alleged to have struck Deborah Reese 36 times with a tire thumper. He was convicted on first-degree murder by the jury and sentenced to death on October 16, 1995. Now, let me see something here. Alright, cool. So that's apparently, what they call them. I've heard them called other things. I think those are also called blackjacks. You know, yeah, slapjack. They call them slapjacks. You know, not a big thing anymore, really. Um, unless I don't know, you're working on tires. I'm not necessarily sure what they're used for. I assume tires since they're called a tire thumper. But so that's basically went down. Um, so his neighbors called him out. Um, who knows if they were Jake or not? They could have been Edomites. Um, that is usually some Edomite shit. Watching your neighbors all hardcore like that. It's a big Edomite thing. They love gossiping and love, spying on people. You don't really see a lot of Jake doing that. He's the type of person that'd be peeking through their blinds and shit all night when you're trying to go and get the mail. Seeing what you're trying to do. They're a bored people. So they gotta spy on you and see what you're doing because they ain't really got nothing going on. So, but I ain't defending this guy. I don't know what he did or what he didn't. I wasn't there, so this guy could be innocent, could not be. Apparently there's DNA evidence that we're gonna get in on it, but we'll bring something up. This is dealing with the post-arrest rape convictions and prosecution. After being charged in the murder of Reese, Lee became a suspect in other crimes. He was accused of 3 sexual assaults and convicted of 2 in the 1991 rape of a Jacksonville woman and the 1990 rape of a Jacksonville teenager. He was also prosecuted for the November 1989 rape and murder of a 22-year-old Christine Lewis, a mother in 1989. Lewis was abducted from her home. She was later raped, strangled, and eventually killed. Her body was found inside a closet at an abandoned home. Lee was tried in 1994. The jury could not reach a verdict. After Lee was convicted and sentenced to death for Reese's murder, county prosecutors decided against retrying him for the alleged murder of Lewis. Now, you know, um, if you're, not fucking around, generally, um, this kind of shit usually doesn't happen. You know, um, I've known several people have, lived out the entirety of their life without getting, you know, this type of shit kicked up on them. you know, and more times than not, yeah, it does happen to Jake, but also there's plenty of Jake out there that this type of shit isn't happening to, and it's mostly because they're not getting themselves involved with weird situations, you know, like I don't know why he was creeping around the house, you know, they could have lied about that, who knows, but you know, these are several cases this guy has been accused on now that could have been something, you know, he got accused for one and they just threw some charges on him. They like doing that with Jake. But you know, again, uh, you know, this isn't the usual thing that just happens to people. So anyway, I'm gonna get into the article here. It says 4 years after an execution, a different man's DNA is found on the murder weapon. Lawyers' request to conduct additional DNA testing before Liddell Lee was executed had been denied. So they were gonna try to, you know, find this, but you know, before he got killed, they didn't allow it. But you know, they'll allow it after he's dead. You know, says you know, Liddell Lee in Pulaski County Circuit Court for a hearing in 2017. You know, around the time of his death. For 22 years, Liddell Lee maintained that he'd been wrongly convicted of murder. My dying words will always be as it has been. I'm an innocent man, he told BBC in an interview published on April 19, 2017, the day before officials in Arkansas administered the lethal injection. 4 years later, lawyers affiliated with the Innocence Project and the American Civil Liberties Union say DNA testing has revealed that the genetic material on the murder weapon, which was never previously tested, in fact belongs to another man, and a highly unusual development for a case in which a person had already been convicted and executed. The new genetic profile has been uploaded to a national criminal database in an attempt to identify the mystery man. Patricia Young, Lee's sister, has been fighting for years to prove that it was not her brother who strangled and fatally bludgeoned 26-year-old Deborah Reese in Jacksonville, Arkansas, a suburb of Little Rock, in 1993. We are glad that there is new evidence in the National DNA Database and remain hopeful that there will be further information uncovered in the future, Ms. Young said in a statement last week. In response to a lawsuit filed by Ms. Young in January, Jacksonville City officials released the bloody wooden club recovered from the victim's bedroom, a bloody white shirt wrapped around the club, and several other pieces of evidence for testing. The Innocence Project and the ACLU have pushed for additional DNA testing at previous times, including the eve of Mr. Lee's execution. The request was denied. A federal judge rejected Mr. Lee's request for a stay of execution, saying that he had simply delayed too long, according to a complaint filed by Ms. Young. This is Patricia Young and Chantel Tidwell, her sister, making a statement in Little Rock, Arkansas last year. You know, uh, Lee's execution on April 20th, 2017 was the first in Arkansas in more than a decade. Some accused the state of rushing Mr. Lee and several other prisoners to their death that month before the expiration of its supply of lethal injection drug. At a news conference on Tuesday, Governor Asa Hutchinson, Slovakia, defended Mr. Lee's execution. It's my duty to carry out the law, he said. We got to see a cracker. Yep. Look at that. That's a fucking Edomite right there. Look at that. Soulless ass eyes. Looking at that fucking. Looking like the fucking Joker. Yep. Yep. He defends it. Just say what you want, man. You hate us. That's what it is. Defending Mr. Lee's execution. It's my duty to carry out the law. No, it's fucking duty to carry out unrighteous decrees is what it is, you stupid. Anyway, he said, adding that the fact is that the jury found him guilty based upon the information that they had, which was apparently not a fucking enough. He called the new DNA evidence that had emerged inconclusive, so he said it doesn't really solve anything. Now, who knows? I'm not sure how accurate those tests are. You know, um, Edomite's technology is really fucking all over the place. So, in a statement, lawyers from the ACLU and the Innocence Project were cautious about stating what exactly could be extrapolated from the newly tested DNA from the shirt and the murder weapon, beyond the facts that both samples appeared to belong to the same man. That man was not Mr. Lee. Let's see here. Um, While the results obtained 29 years after the evidence was collected provided to be incomplete and partial, it is notable that there are now new DNA profiles that were not available during the trial or post-conviction proceedings in Mr. Lee's case. Nina Morrison, senior litigation counsel at the Innocence Project, said in a statement, which the Washington Post reported on Tuesday. Let's see if I want to get blah blah blah. Says that the FBI hasn't provided a hit on the criminal database yet. Um, doesn't match any that are already in there. It's going to remain in the database. It says Mr. Lee, a black man charged with the vicious beating and murder of a white woman in her home, was tried under the shadow of the O.J. Simpson prosecution and trial. Many white Americans and was shocked and angered many white Americans and polarized the nation along racial lines. It's been racist since forever, man. So yeah, I'm not gonna get much into that 'cause it's just gonna go on. But yeah, we're gonna get into some scriptures, 'cause this now it could go both ways, you know, but more than likely, you know, Esau had some shit, especially during the time of the OJ trial. You know, in the 90s, there's just crazy shit going on, a lot of riots. So, it was definitely a heated time of racism. They really wanted those so-called black people, as they like calling them. You know, they don't ever call Jake by who they really are. They like calling us, mismatched names, like calling us Mexicans or blacks, you know, Indians, all that shit, you know. But it was in a heated time, you know, so they really wanted, these blacks and Latinos out of here, you know. They've hated us for a long time. And they're going to continue to hate us, because that's how they were made. But I'm going to get into some scriptures. This is Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. You know, these these Edomites, they love, you know, declaring unrighteous decrees. And if you go to if we look up decree, it's an official order issued by legal authority, you know, and you see that a lot with these Edomites. They like, decreeing things that are just, you know, that anybody else that's not an Edomite would just think is stupid. You know, anything that can harm another person, you know, they're into it because, they're the wicked man. The Edomites, the so-called white man, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And it seems a lot of people don't want to, get it into their thick fucking skulls that it's true. I mean, look at them. Look at them. Look around on the news. What do you see? Who do you see bringing guns to places? Who do you see shooting up big crowds of people? Who do you see, shooting up schools? Who do you see, doing these mass murders? Look at all the serial killers. How many of them are Jake, and then how many of them, were Edomites? Look at the picture. Look at the broader picture, man. Zoom out. You're looking at a fucking little tiny pixel when there's a big ass picture before you and you're not even seeing. You know, the accounts in the Bible directly link up to who this man is. It's plain to see. You know, and this is Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8, and this is what's going to go down. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And that people it's going to be translated to is going to be us, Jake. And that's talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out there. You know, and any of those, and any of the, you know, tribes that are made up of those people. You know, so, you know, these people, because of what they've done and their wickedness, they're going to have their kingdom stripped from them. It's going to be given to us. Now, it's not going to be the same kingdom. We're not going to inherit, you know, Targets and Walmarts and shit. It's not just going to be transferred over to us and then they're just going to sit down and no, like when Yahushua comes back, You know, he's this place as we know it is essentially going to be destroyed. You know, so all these houses and all these buildings you see here and all your favorite stores that you like to go to, those are going to be done. They're going to be ripped apart by, the nuclear fire. You know, that's going to burn this place to a crisp. You know, the elect of Israel, the one third that does get saved, is going to be, picked up somehow. Chariots most likely. Or however Yahweh Shem Yahushua wants to do it. He's going to save you from it, if you're of the elect. And then the two-thirds and the rest of the people that aren't elect are going to stay down here and burn. And then this place is essentially going to be rebuilt as our kingdom. And those people that burned in the fire down here are going to be, sent into the kingdom as well. But we're going to be in rulership over them. Lord willing, I am of the elect, and some of you brothers out there, if you're doing this thing diligently, we're going to essentially be the ones in rulership over them, you know. So the heathen nations, the Hamites, the Moabites, etc., and these Edomites, we're going to be ruling over them, and the Edomites and them are going to be our slaves, And the after a period of time, the Edomites are going to go away. Now the other heathen nations will be there. They'll always be under us. We're going to essentially have to teach them what they can and can't do, because we're going to be ruling in righteousness. So, they can't be trying to go and, eat pork and doing all this abominable shit, These Edomites, they only have a specific amount of time when they're in the kingdom. They're essentially going to serve their punishment there, and then they're going to vanish. They're going to go away, you know. And that's not going to happen to the other heathen nations. They'll be there, but, essentially in consider to what we're going to have, it's essentially it'll be poverty, because Esau's not the only one that did unrighteous things to us and that punished us and killed us and put us into captivity. Well, Yahweh Shem Yahushai put us into captivity, but enslaved us essentially, like sending us into slavery, um, making us into workers and stuff like that. Esau's not the only one that did that, If you look into history, there's a lot of other the heathen nations did the same thing. Um, so that's why this kingdom is going to essentially be stripped from them and turned over to us. And you know, this is Proverbs 16:4. Uh, the Lord hath made all things for Himself, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So these Edomites, that have been put over us, and that's the doing of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. He put them over us for a punishment because of how we'd been going off. Now he made those people, you know. He made he made them essentially to be our punishment, you know. They were put there for a reason because he's made everything, you know. Yahweh Shem Yahushai has made everything that there is, So it's not like these wicked just came up one day out of their own accord. No, they were made that way by Yahweh Shem Yahushai to serve as our enemy and for our punishment. Now, this is 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Know ye that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, or extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. And this is going towards you, Jake, too. You know, um, you know, you essentially you will be, in the kingdom, but you two-thirds out there, you know, you're gonna essentially be babies. When you come back in that thing, you're gonna have to be born as babies. Now, if you're of the one-third, you're gonna be brought there. You know, you're just gonna be how you were, but you're gonna be changed. So technically you will, be in the kingdom, but you're gonna have to grow up in it. and you're not going to be, you know, essentially how like the 144 are going to be, which is a whole new topic I'm not going to go and get on, but essentially the 144 are going to basically rule alongside, Yahushai, you know. So you two-thirds, you'll be in there, but you're gonna have to be reborn as a child, and that's not an excuse to just fuck off, and just because you're just gonna be there anyway, you know. But no, these Edomites, this is mostly pertaining to these Edomites. They're not gonna inherit the kingdom, you know. They're gonna be on a very very low level, you know, to the point where they're gonna be doing all of our chores for us, you know. We'll essentially have them doing whatever we want them to do. If we want them to go cut trees, they can go cut trees. If we want them in your house, to cook for you, which I wouldn't want, but some of you might want that. I'd much personally rather have a Moabite for that. But the Edomites, essentially be your slaves, But so these Edomites, they come up with these doctrines, this plantation Christianity, this stupid Christianity thing that they came up with, where if you do something bad, you're gonna burn in hell, and if you're good, you go to heaven. Which none of those Edomites are even capable of going into what they call heaven. They're not capable of inheriting the kingdom. It's impossible. No matter what they try, no matter what they do, no, you're an Edomite at the end of the day. You're going into captivity, man. Now this is getting on that guy, you know, that the Lee, I already forgot his full name, something Lee, Liddell Lee, Slovakia. Um, you know, now him himself, was most likely doing some shit, you know, because before I get into this, I'll get into this. This is Job 4 and 7. Job 4 and 7, remember I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, Slakia, or where were the righteous cut off? Let me grab that one more time. Remember I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? You know? So this guy, even if he might have been, innocent for this crime, he was not innocent in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He was doing some shit most likely. Not even most likely, he was doing some shit you know, whether it be sneaking around, if he, did kill that woman before, the other woman that he might have not killed, that they still don't have entire evidence on it. Whatever he was doing, whether he did or didn't do it, he was doing some shit that the Most High didn't think was right, you know. So, and that's why he got cut off and put to death, you know. Now, this is Matthew 10 and 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves, and be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Now, a lot of these guys that end up getting in trouble like this, they weren't being harmless. These I'm not sure how his rest went down. There's probably not even body cam footage of it because it was back then. But these guys that this shit happens to, they're usually not being circumspect. You know, And that's one of the most important things that you could do is be circumspect. Um, Here it is, Ephesians 5 and 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, and not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. You know, this place is set up to destroy you. So you gotta tread on glass essentially, walk around like on eggshells around this place. Because you do one thing, you know, and they'll put you to death, and that's being controlled by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You fuck up too much, especially if you're not in this truth, and actually even more so if you're in this truth. If you're in this truth and you're fucking up, you're not gonna have as much leeway as someone out in the world, because those people out in the world, you know, Yahushai, you know, will wink at them, when they come into this truth. Now, if you're in this truth and you're smoking weed and you're getting with other dudes' wives and doing all this crazy shit, that's a quick way to death, man. It's a quick way to death. So you got to walk circumspectly in this thing, whether you're out there in the world or not. But the thing is, if you're out there in the world, you're not walking circumspectly in the first place, most likely. You know, this is Psalms 33 and 18. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, um, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him because we have trusted in his holy name. You gotta, I've said it, on a lot of my lessons, almost every one, single one of them, you gotta put trust and, and hold fast, and onto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because he's the only one that can get you out of this captivity. He's the only one that can bring you out of this thing, and if you don't have him, man, you're going to be facing a destruction here. This place is going to be through. It's already through, but this place is really going to be, destroyed and set on fire and cleansed. You know, so if you're not in this thing, and you're still, fucking around, partying it up, and doing all this stupid shit that you shouldn't be here for, that's a good way to get destroyed. We weren't set here to party it up all the time. Now if you have a few, brothers over or something like that, and you have a few drinks, or you go out, I don't know, maybe you like to go to the casino or something. Uh, now you can do that, but you can't do it, you know, every single day. There's moderation in everything. You can have a drink with your brothers, hang out, watch some TV, watch the game or what you want. But if you're doing that every single day, not doing anything pertaining to the Most High, you're not studying, you're not watching lessons, you're not reading, you're not putting out lessons, you're basically just being slack and you're not doing anything at all. That's where it becomes a problem. Because you're gonna be you're gonna be judged by your fruits. So you don't want to be that guy that it's already too late and you didn't do shit, never put a single lesson out, you know, standing before Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It's not going to be a good look, man. It's not going to be a good look. But I don't really have too much else to go in on that. I was just getting on that situation on the both sides. On one side, Edomites, yeah, the white man, he's a devil. Has been basically sent here to destroy you, essentially. If you're putting yourself in that situation, you don't see this, happening to the men that are in the truth. You know, you don't see this happening to them. This is stuff that you see with worldly ass people, you know, because the Most High is not dealing with them, and he's essentially not protecting them, unless they're of the elect. Now, if they're of the elect, that's a different story. He'll be watching over them because eventually, at some point, most likely they'll come to the truth. Um, but you 2/3 out there that are doing this shit, you know, you're basically on a burning fuse, just waiting for the shit to blow up in your face. So, I got on that subject, I got in on the white man being the devil and all these unrighteous decrees that he likes declaring, and how he was sent here to destroy you essentially, and put you into punishment, and basically make you serve your punishment, um, by from the works of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And on the other hand, I got on Jake, on what they're doing, and not walking circumspectly, and that nobody in this thing, nobody in this world dies innocently in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So I got both sides on there. It's you know we'll see if more information comes out of it. Probably not. This will probably be a vanishing act. You'll probably hear this from from them finding DNA on it, and I'm sure you'll probably never hear a single fucking thing about it after that. They like doing that. It's also another way that Esau likes stirring up anger, because what they really want us to do is they want us out there rioting, because then it'll be easier, to declare martial law and make us seem like a problem that we're not. But anyway, with that, I'm gonna close out. Give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Hope this was edifying. And till the next one, Shalom.